Our top story this morning, stormy weather all across the area, heavy rain and strong winds in the valley, and lots of snow up there on the mountain. Thanks for joining us on this morning after Christmas. I'm Drew Carney, and we have team coverage covering all that winter weather. Rod Hill standing by in the Weather Center. Thomas Schultz in Vancouver looking at downed trees. But before we get to those two, an avalanche warning for the Cascades. This is a live look from our Timberline Skycam. Not a great look, partly because of those weather conditions up there. The Northwest Avalanche Center has issued the warning for parts of the Cascades from Mount Hood up through Washington, and it's in effect until 6 o'clock tonight. The Avalanche Center is telling skiers and snowboarders to stay on densely forested slopes and on non-avalanche terrain. All right, Rod Hill, that is your setup. Let's talk about the forecast for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and changing timelines from our friends at the National Weather Service, the high wind warning along the coast has expired, which means we're no longer expecting any wind gusts to 60. For the most part, the winds in the coming hours along the beach will stay under 50 miles per hour. But on the flip side, the wind advisory for the valley, including Southwest Washington, has been extended through until 10 o'clock this morning. Now, we are seeing a transition from south winds to west winds. We still have gusts at this hour to 45 miles in the valley, and that will be an ongoing situation into mid-morning. And then we have advisories for the heavy snow falling down to 4,000 feet and the Cascades as well. Still absolutely steady rain falling, as you can see, although there are now some breaks along the coast itself. But for us, especially before daylight, we like to remind you it's been more than an inch of rain that's come down. We are getting multiple reports of high water spots. Use caution before the light of daylight, before the sunrise, because you could be running into high water spots that you don't readily see. It is a comfortable temperature out there. It's 50 degrees. Again, steady rain, gusty winds still with us. KGW weather impact alert up out the door through mid-morning. Eventually, this is just heavy scattered showers and west winds 10 to 25 miles per hour with temps in the 50s, but we need to get through mid-morning. Back to you.
All right, Rod Hill, we'll have more from you coming up in about 6 minutes. Right now, some power outages to let our viewers know about. PGE says 23,000 customers spread out across the Portland metro area are without power right now. Pacific Power is reporting 13,000 customers without power. The majority of those are along the coast in Lincoln City and Astoria, with others just outside of Salem and Albany. Those numbers, by the way, are improved from an hour ago. And we're also seeing a bit better number, a smaller number, if you will, from Clark Public Utilities, which is reporting 1,900 customers without power right now. Those customers in Vancouver, Battleground, and up into Le Center. Thomas Schultz is live in Vancouver this morning. A tree nearly hit a home where Thomas is standing. So Thomas, one of our viewers called this morning to let us know about this. We want to know what you saw when you got to this house.
Well, Drew, I mean, you can see right here behind us, this is the tree that actually split down the middle. Part of it is still standing. Part of it just nearly missed the house. And homeowners tell us that this is a historic tree. It's one of the largest bay trees along the West Coast. They say you can see, of course, once again, that split right down the middle. And this is a bit of a double whammy up here in Vancouver. It's not just trees that are down. You can see right down here on this side of the street, power is out. On the southbound part of the street, we're just off of East 13th Street here in Vancouver. The fire department's already been out here. You can see as we come around this corner, danger tape. They put up, homeowners say, around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock this morning. This tree fell around 3 a.m. and you can see just the sheer size of it. I mean, stretching all the way from that fence about 25 feet away, all the way across the front lawn of this home, just nicking the gutter, but not touching any other part of the house, fortunately. Now, fire department also telling the homeowners to be careful about some of these power lines down here. They're saying don't stand under them. So people really exerting some caution over here in Vancouver. And it's not just trees that are down in Vancouver that we're seeing. Let's show this video we captured just about an hour ago in southeast Portland off 54th Avenue. We saw another tree down in a woman's house, right in front of a woman's house in her front yard. Fortunately, it did not appear like that tree hit her home either. But once again, I mean, that was a pretty large tree, 25 feet tall, that just missed her home, actually crashed not only in front of her yard, but in front of her neighbor's yard as well. Again, it's not just trees that are being affected. Also in southeast Portland, we saw a power pole that also crashed to the ground and once again led to likely more power outages that we've seen all across our area. So power lines, either are off or in some cases power poles are down, trees down across our area. We've seen both here in Vancouver and once again down in southeast Portland. Drew, you mentioned that power restoration is happening. We've seen some power crews out here in Vancouver. They are working to restore power, but again, still a lot of people that don't have it just yet.
Yeah,
Drew.
the numbers have improved, Thomas, since last hour, but you mentioned it. A lot of people still without power as they wake up this morning. Thomas Schultz live in Vancouver as we continue to cover this morning's weather, and we're asking for your help. If you see anything in your neighborhood that you think we should know about, you can text us. 503-226-5088 is the text line, and we'll follow up on your tips. We also have an update this morning on the local ballot box arsons that happened just before last month's election. A Washington-based nonprofit called Arson Alarm Foundation is offering a $5,000 reward now for information that leads to an arrest in the Vancouver ballot box case specifically. The FBI also offering a separate $25,000 reward, so there's a total of $30,000 on the table for helpful information. Ballot box fires in both Portland and Vancouver took place 1 week before Election Day. This is surveillance footage from the Portland incident that captured a dark color 2003 or 2004 Volvo S60 near that ballot box shortly before it exploded. Police say that the person in this video is the person they're looking for. Anyone with information about the suspect or the case in general should contact the FBI or the arson alarm hotline. Residents in Northeast Portland, meanwhile, say something has to be done after a car crashed into a home on Christmas Eve. Neighbors say crashes have happened at that property on Northeast 24th and Weidler almost 30 times over the past 30 years. That's 24th and Weidler, excuse me. And again, they said the crazy part here is that 30 times over the last 30 years, that's how many crashes have happened at this property. Tuesday's crash involved a gas line and the home went up in flames. Here's KGW's Libby Dowsett with more.
Massive flames shooting from a house in Northeast Portland at Weidler and 24th, shocking both neighbors and firefighters Christmas Eve night.
It was a big, almost like a bomb went off.
Within, a minute, the gas line was exploding and just huge ball of fire from the initial impact.
I could feel the heat from my bathroom window, and it was just like humongous flames. It was really terrifying.
A driver missed the curve, and this 1909 Portland home was hit again.
And when it struck the gas meter, it severed that gas meter, and the gas was naturally flowing from the underground line through the vehicle, and flames were being deflected by the vehicle, so the entire house appeared as if it was on fire, heavy fire being shown.
Once crews assessed the 4-unit house, turns out the natural gas fire only burned the exterior walls. No flames inside and no one injured, except for one of the cats, whom firefighters provided oxygen.
Where there was a lot of water in play, a lot of engines in play, simply because of the uniqueness of this fire.
The fire blew out the windows of Mike Powers' house next door, who's lived here for 30 years. He said crews just finished repairing his neighbor's front porch 3 days ago from the last crash. He and his wife stopped counting at 29.
We had one that hit my car in the driveway here, drove it through the garage door and into her car.
How many times have you complained to the city, do you think?
I think we did 4 or 5 times and then finally gave up. We talked to the people who came out and put in these signs. They tell us to keep complaining.
We heard the same thing from other neighbors.
Unfortunately, one of the responses was just adding stuff will just confuse people and it's not going to help.
It happens so much. Like, these poles get knocked down all the time.
This intersection design just makes this inevitable. And I know people have been fighting long and hard to change the roadway design, and this is the moment we need to do it. This is not okay.
Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
In Washington County, sheriff's deputies caught 2 people who they say were stealing mail and packages. So this is a look at what deputies say they found when they stopped the suspect's car. They're now working to identify and notify all the victims. Authorities say a postal carrier noticed the suspects taking packages in the Bethany area. Brandon Rummerfield and Michael Fisher also allegedly used a stolen postal service key to get into multiple community mailboxes. All right, before we get back to Rod Hill and a look at today's weather, check this out from Washington, D.C. Hundreds of people gathering in front of the White House for the lighting of the national menorah. Last night was the first night of Hanukkah. It's extremely rare, by the way, for Christmas and the start of Hanukkah to land on the same day. In fact, this is only the 5th time it's happened since 1900. Wow. 5 times in 124 years, Rodney Hill.
And I was alive for some of them. Not all of them.
Not all of them.
All right, get serious for a moment. Obviously, we've had the winds blowing last night. We had 64-mile-per-hour winds clocked at Astoria, likely some higher amounts at the coast. Much of the valley has, in fact, seen south winds 40 to 45. It looks like the worst of the wind hit in the 3 o'clock hour to about 4 a.m. this morning. Right now, we still have Highway 6 closed, mileposts 13 and 14. This is the Wilson River Highway in the Tillamook for a combination of power lines and trees down. A new report into the newsroom. This is just south of Scappoose on Highway 30. The entire highway closed. Again, we understand that is for power lines down, which obviously will take some time to clear up. So check your travel apps before you head out this morning. We have snow, partially packed ice and snow over Cascade Passes with heavy snow falling up into the Cascades as well. Now, the high wind warning for the coast has expired. That's been lifted. It's still windy, still gusting to 45. The red area, high wind warnings for the coast range near to above 1,000 feet for 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts still potentially blowing through 10 o'clock this morning. And the National Weather Service has extended from Longview down to Eugene the wind advisory for the I-5 corridor until 10 o'clock this morning as well. We still are getting, and again, there are other wind advisories in Central Oregon and varying amounts of snow in the white and purple areas for the Cascades and also out across eastern Oregon. Here is the steady rain, still absolutely steady from Seattle to Portland, including heavy rain pockets. We're starting to see the steady rain break up along the coast and also pretty much near and south of Salem. The rain is now breaking up. The front moved in hours ago. The low, which is spinning up in Washington, is starting to move to our north. So again, we are starting to see the rain break up to our south. And through mid-morning, this will become just a scattered shower day. But we're unstable. So heavy downpours mixed in with passing showers, including maybe a rumble of thunder and even some hail. Temperatures in the 40s have cooled down a little bit in the last hour. 49 in downtown Portland. Still very mild overall. 52 degrees in Salem out there. The valley forecast includes the KGW weather impact alert at least through mid-morning. Again, the wind advisory up through 10 o'clock. That may get dropped before then. I think it's somewhere in the 8 to 9 o'clock hour that we significantly see the threat of wind fade away. And we'll be left with west winds to southwest, 10 to 25 miles per hour with heavy showers coming and going for the remainder of the day. Everybody has precip in the forecast. 39 in Sun River, 50 out in Pendleton, 52 in Tillamook. This is a wet pattern with numerous fronts coming and going all the way into Sunday morning. But once we get through this morning, I do not see any wind threat for the remainder of the systems coming between now and Sunday. And we will be back on this day after Christmas. One last ho, ho, ho for the season that's getting behind us when we return.